All right, I'm very pleased on how this whole unit worked out. And now the next step is I'm going to start plumbing my tools that I want to be attached to this vacuum system. And the first tool I'm going to do is I'm going to do the bandsaw. It's just going to be easier if I do individually the tools. So I'm going to run some piping to this bandsaw and I'll plumb it. But I'm going to do it in such a way that I can easily undo the plumbing, so that way if I need to move the bandsaw, which happens every so often, then I can. Right now the hose is a little short for the table saw, so I've moved it so that make it fit. I have to decide a couple things. Is that how am I going to transfer from one tool to the other? I've seen a lot of people use these air gates, and I don't have a woodworking store near me. I have to either online order them or go to a store to get those, and even then I'm not really sure that's the route I want to take because they leak. And I think what I've decided to do is I have 4 tools that I'm going to be plumbing ultimately. I'm going to be plumbing the bandsaw, the table saw, my drum sander slash planer, and that will be done in such a way to be temporarily attached. And that same line will do my router table, and then ultimately I'm going to want to do my disc sander. So I've got basically 4 trunks that I'm going to be setting up. The first one I'm going to do is the bandsaw, and that's going to be the easiest, and that will get me past some questions I'm going to have. So to the gate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3-inch pipe for my vacuum. It's a little smaller than the capacity of the 4-inch pipe that the vacuum uses, but considering there's not going to be any ribs in it, I think it's going to suffice just nicely. So I'm going to drill 4 holes in this piece of wood that are 3 7/8 inch, because that is roughly the outside diameter of the piping that I'm using. And then I'm going to attach this to the wall, and then I'm going to feed the piping up through here, terminate it with a end cap, not an end cap, a coupler. And that coupler is going to be what we're going to use to transfer from one tool to the other, and then run the piping to the bandsaw, terminate it with a coupler, and then go from there with flexible hosing. It's easier to talk about and then show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it, and you'll see it when I'm done, I guess. Alright, I've installed the bracket onto the wall, and this is going to accommodate 4 lines, and the idea is that I'm going to have a coupler, and then the hose will sit on the coupler, and that will use whatever line. I'm going to use this one for the bandsaw and run the bandsaw over here to the back of the bandsaw. That's what I'm going to do now. So this is what I'm doing. I got a piece of PVC here. I got 2 PVC couplers, one for either end of the whole process, and then 3 elbows. Now I'm thinking these PVC couplers need to be shrunk down just a little bit. I got to double check, but I'm pretty sure I need to shrink them down, and that I'll do. I only have to do one that way. That I'll do on the disc sander. So now what I'm going to do is I need to cut down the PVC to appropriate lengths, but I do not have a fancy tool that will cut PVC this size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this down, and I'm going to get this piece of plywood here, and I'm going to put it in my end vise here, just like so. Then I won't be able to do it now because I only have one hand available to me. I'm going to butt it up against that piece of plywood, make my measurement, let's say it's here, get my Sharpie, hold my Sharpie, and hold it still, probably put it on the ground here, and hold it still, and then meanwhile spin the PVC, that way I can make a mark all the way around without going off course. So that's the plan. We'll see how well that works. Okay, so this is complete for this tool. I got a hose connected to my piping here, which goes around this corner and ends here. Now right now I only have one tool, which is the bandsaw, and the beauty is I turn this on. Now I have an easy way to hook up my bandsaw. The next effort is going to be the table saw and the drum sander, and that's going to be a totally different effort. I'm going to do most of it off camera because it's more of the same, but you'll see the end results. Now I know I'm using PVC, and there's a lot of people who say you shouldn't use PVC because PVC carries a static and you're gonna have a shot fire with static. And really, honestly, I don't think so. Not at the level of production I do. I do very little bit of, I do use the vacuum, but it's not like this air is going to be completely saturated with sawdust. And even if it was, I live in a very humid climate and it's not dry enough to be a problem. The next two lines that I'm going to do, I want to come out here where this black box is. One of them is going to come all the way out, and I will probably make a loop to hang off the side of this bookcase here. And that loop will be for the drum sander, the planer, and my router table. And the other one will go to the table saw. And this one's going to be kind of tough because for two reasons. Is I want to be able to move it away whenever I have to prepare this space for storms. Sometimes there are storms in our area and we move all our patio furniture into this room here to keep it becoming projectiles. Well, I am done for now. There's a couple more modifications I'm going to want to make, and I have room for expansion. I got one more hose hole here that I made, And that's going to go for the disc sander over there. I have one line to the bandsaw. Sorry for the rapid movements. One line for the table saw. And I don't know how well this is going to work, but I put a trap here to, if I drop the nut for the table saw, then I have a trap to catch the nut, hopefully, and then I don't have to try to fish it out somehow. That would be fun. And I got a second line for a loose hose. I still got to get a quick connect for it, but the loose hose is going to be used for the drum sander and the planer, and possibly even my router table. So I'm very pleased with the way this came out. It is easy to switch from tools. It's a little bit of annoyance because this bag is in the way, but that's the thing with a small shop. I just move from here to here. So this is the bandsaw. This is that loose hose, and then this is the table saw. And then I can always use this hose for something else too if I want to vacuum up around the drill press or whatever. Works great. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say static electricity is going to make your problem and all that, and I really don't believe it's going to be. There's not going to be enough dust for it to statically charge to catch on fire or explode. That would be in the case for a very large production shop. The pipes will get statically charged if you touch them, but I really don't think it's going to be a big problem. I've been using this one on the bandsaw for several weeks now, and it's not been a problem at all. So that's it, and now it's time to put my shop back together. Good. Finally, after every woodworking project, you should always count your fingers. You end with 10. Good job.
Dust in the wind. All we are is just dust in the wind. And now it's contained in a